I got a couple strategies going all at once.
Okay.
So,
I got my pen.
yep. Short term and sort of long term is 1,000 hand delivered flyers a month. I actually took a break to do this training because I was actually out there passing those out. I got 63 more. Yeah, 63 more to go to make
You
my
hit
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, to hit 1,000 for the month.
Good.
I met a couple of my neighbors. They called me Mr. Pumpkin Guy because I dropped off pumpkins in October, and they remember who I am. So it's starting to build, right? That
They
momentum is
just
starting
they
to
just
build.
talk about your head, man. Come on.
Yeah, that too. But that's one of my strategies, short term. The
Yeah.
other one is to call 10 people a day, to have a conversation with 10 people a day. Because if I'm not
Okay.
having a conversation with 10 people a day, I can call 100, but if I'm not having a conversation with 10 people a day, then I'm not going to have forward momentum.
Okay.
I'm getting those numbers, those names and numbers from Facebook leads, and if needed, if I didn't get enough leads that day, then I'll go to hot pads, go to for rent by owners, and call those guys and say, "Hey, you want to sell?"
Got it.
My
Good.
10, and I'm also doing little videos here and there. Monday I'm doing a video, and then Friday evenings I do another market update, and those are my short-term strategies.
Okay. And long term?
So long-term is the thousand flyers is also long-term because
Yep.
that
Okay.
that's
Got it.
content that everybody sees too.
Okay.
And video is really, really long term because I try to
Yeah. Make them evergreen.
yeah, I try to make them evergreen. Uh, but with those videos, yeah, sometimes it takes me like an hour to make them, hour to 2 hours to make them. But
Okay. All right. So some questions for you. First of all, the 10 a day. If when you're out handing out flyers and you have a conversation, does that count as a part of that 10, or is that 10 separate from that?
that counts as a part of the 10. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so then is it possible that you could reduce your time of 1 to 2 hours I'm assuming that's production time, not video time, of the 1 to 2 hours for the videos?
Yeah. It's
All right.
1 or 2 hours to get the things, because sometimes I do props and stuff like that to figure it out. Because if I want to
Oh,
make it a
okay. So
I'll do a viral video, like a funny viral video a week, and then two market updates a week.
okay. So your time in that is actually video time or setting up your props. It's not like after you do the video, like producing or anything like that.
No, yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just looking for efficiency to see if we can, leverage some of that off, but that's good. Okay. And your flyers are primarily your own neighborhood?
So I've done my own neighborhood, and then I'm doing circle prospecting around 2 places that I sold.
How's that being received when you're knocking on a door with the pandemic?
So I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking. I'm handing it off, and I'm stuffing it in the storm door or right at the just leaning it up against the door. So when they open it up, the letter drops into their
Okay.
house.
All right.
But
If
they're doing well with that. They say they're doing well with door knocking, but
yeah,
my neighborhood's a little older,
yeah.
and very established. So it's not they don't want me to door knock. They've
Yeah,
already
no,
talked,
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I was just more curious I was just more curious than anything. Okay.
and I do open houses, but right now my weekends are being filled up with 2 investors that I have right now.
Okay. The only thing that I see there, and I think that I think you have this accommodated, right? But I'm just looking at just what I wrote down, is that seems as though if it's for a short-term strategy, more primarily of a buyer plan rather than a seller plan. The mailers or flyers rather, those could be either really. Probably more sellers than, but it's not necessarily like a today type thing.
Yep,
Would you agree with that?
definitely I would agree with that.
Okay, so then my curiosity is what can we do to get listings today?
Facebook ads to get listings.
I got an idea for you.
What's that? FSBOs?
Bigger pockets, because I know that was one of the things that I remember seeing. Investors. So here's the thing: if you're an investor and you're not like, if you're a casual investor, meaning that you have like an extra property, who has an extra property, right? But maybe you bought a property, you got married, and now you still kept it. And if you want to sell, we all know today's the day to sell. That's different than somebody like you as an investor, where you're acquiring, for the next 10 years. There's a lot of people that will only have like 1 or 2 properties. But when I got married, I went from owning 1 home to 3 really pretty quickly, because I owned my home, my wife owned her home, and then we bought a home together, and we held both the homes that we had, and now suddenly that was how I became a landlord, almost accidentally, years ago. If I wasn't involved in real estate, I would have been a great prospect for you, today. I'm just shooting in the dark. I don't know if this resonates with you or not.
So I'm already on Bigger Pockets a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from Bigger Pockets, on the 13th, I wouldn't call it a seminar, but I have a webinar with 50 naval officers down in Norfolk that want to talk to me about investing and want to hear about my pluses and minuses, how I did things, and how I got to 27 units in 20 years.
My recommendations have some during that webinar, have some possibilities for them already lined up, which I'm sure you've already thought of that.
Yes, I have. I definitely have possibilities for them in Norfolk, because the Norfolk market was hot, but it's not as hot as it used to be, especially for 1 to 4 or 2 to 20 units.
Consider have a financial guy or gal available for you for that as well.
Yep.
Because if you sit there and you get 50 people, probably 20 of them may show. Maybe 50 will, I don't know, right? But let's say 20 show. And of those 20, 2 are like, yeah, I want that right now. You can pop them right there and have them under contract the next day if you do that. That's a very real possibility. And then you say, hey, next step, talk to Jane. And you just pass them, and then Jane gets it back to you, and then you write the offer if it gets accepted. All right. Sounds like you got a great plan. Let me know what you need from me on that, okay?